morning. Good morning. This looks cold. Good morning.
Hey, Craig, how you doing?
Craig's warm, by the way. Craig's in like 100-degree weather.
Well, it still trips me out.
The world.
The
How it's
world,
warm in
bro.
some places, other ways your
world.
toilet's flowing the other way.
Yeah, man.
What's that called again?
Gravity.
What's that effect called? The
Circadian.
No. But it's okay. We can keep yelling random words out.
110 degrees.
I can go on.
You could go on, but now it's the Coriolis effect. Is that what it's called? Why water?
I think that's a
flows?
light effect.
I think you're just making shit up.
I think you're making words up.
Robbie, Ron, good morning. Good morning, boys.
Thanks for holding it down, Tom. Coriolis
How's everyone
effect.
doing?
Get out of here, people. I know what I'm talking about. Coriolis effect. In case no one knows, if you flush your toilet or you watch your water go down the drain underneath the equator, it will go the other direction than what we see going here. Which direction do we go? Do we go right? Do we go left? I forget which way we go. But anyway, it's the opposite for Craig. Craig's warm. His poop goes the other way. It's a great day.
That would be a great $1 million question at the end of like a game show. Is like after all the hard questions, the final question is, if you live here, which way does your water spin in the toilet? Like if I would panic if I had no lifelines and I had to answer that question, I would probably panic.
You'd panic. Well, it's 50-50. Coriolis effect.
That's
we
like,
know this.
I think I'd panic more with a 50-50 shot.
Clockwise. I was right twice. That's what I've learned from this. I gotta trust myself. But Jason, I'll be your lifeline.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, man. No worries. We can do it.
I'll be your lifeline too.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that. Guys, I'm making roasted garlic rosemary sourdough bread. It's my first venture into taking my sourdough bread to the next level. We're going to see where it goes. It's cold weather here. It seems perfect for exactly what today is going to bring us.
It's so good.
It sounds really
sourdough
cozy.
It is cozy. In fact, it smells like garlic all over the place here right now. Boys. All right, what do we got today? Behaviors. I'm curious, guys. Behaviors that you are doing right now. What's something that you hope that your kids never pick up from you? What do you do right now? Do you pick your nose and eat it? Do you not flush the toilet? Do you leave your plates in the sink? Are you horrible with your spending and are deep in debt? What don't you want your kids to pick up from you? What's one of those things? Couch, this is for you too.
Damn it, Craig.
I don't know, but also
I was deep in thought, and then I looked at the screen.
But this is a better thought, Craig. Is it an actual scratch or is it a pinch and rub?
Let's take a deep dive into nut scratching.
Nope, we're not.
I usually do the
No, we're not going to do it.
Pockets and adjust.
You just mute him.
Sorry, you've been muted. All right. The example used today in our reading, guys, was all about how our kids. What was it again? It was about the leaving the refrigerator door open. Is that what it was?
I don't remember that.
You're talking to me. Are we talking about childhood? I don't know. I forgot.
Gets mad. She slams the door and screams. Makes a snack, leaves the kitchen a disaster to clean up. They say something rude at the waiter, or they write something offensive on social media.
ugh.
Those are the examples given.
I would hurt inside if I saw my kids rude to a waiter or a delivery person. That is one
Yeah.
thing that I am very, just because I was in the service industry for so long, and if that's like, I think that is very telling of a person. And so I would hope that's not something they'd ever pick up. For me, well, it's also not something I do. So I think I go out of my way to be kind to service industry folk. And again, because I was there before. But is there something that I'm doing? Probably. I mean, right now it's relevant. Probably screen time. I'm probably on my phone more than I want to be. I probably don't want them, although I see them sometimes. We only have one iPad really for the girls to borrow, and they're not really big iPad kids, but like when it's available, of course they're excited. And it's the same thing as like when like the Nintendo was a big thing when we were kids. Like you'd get excited when you could play Nintendo. So I don't really see it as anything different, but I think that there are some things here with like phones and social media, right? I was trying to look up something in the news that was relevant to this, and another Roblox controversy recently popped up with a 5-year-old seeing some explicit content on Roblox. That was one thing. Also, something in Science Daily that was a new thing that I was trying to find here, but what was it? Southern California? No, San Francisco. Just about how a lot of kids now are mirroring their parents' screen habits. So it's kind of like it's like the thing. Craig saying here, clothes on the floor. I'm all about that, Craig. Get it in the basket. Put it in there. Screen time is probably my number one thing.
Yeah, that's up there. Sorry. Chilly down here. Yeah, I'd say screen time, and I'd say one on the opposite end of that. One thing that I feel like when we're, like you said, you mentioned out in public, what comes to mind is I feel like I'm very aware of how I'm talking to people. It's like I'm not changing how I talk to people. I'm just aware of like how I'm talking to, like how you said, like service industry people, or even like holding the door open for people. Like I'm very mindful of like what they're. Almost feel like I'm super aware of what they're seeing me do.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I'm doing it right.
What would make you think you're not doing it right?
If they don't do the things that I feel like would be like polite or respectful to other people, I guess. Commenting online is one thing. I really like the line, "When have you seen me do that?" It's like in school. This was more of like a school connection point for me. It's like when students are, kind of being a dork in class, or even mean. I'm wondering, like, what would be the answer if I say, "When have you seen your parents do that?" Or where
Wait,
did
can
you
we
learn
just go
that?
back for a second? You said when
Sure.
a student's being a dork in class.
Yeah, being a butthead. Sometimes students are buttheads.
I mean,
Go ahead,
I
Ryan.
know those
Mute
two
me.
are
Go
synonyms.
ahead. Mute me again.
no, I wasn't
Go ahead.
sure if it was being a butthead. I think I'm like, yeah, butthead. But when you say kids being a dork in class, I'm like, I don't know. Is the kid doing like calculus in class? You're like, what a dork. Or like, are you like,
no.
what do you mean by dork?
No, when I say dork, I mean like annoying people, throwing things like that.
Got it. I wouldn't define dork that way, but I'm with you. I just want to clarify.
Nerd. No, I would never.
Dom, what is it your kids go from?
I was just reading Robbie's, but I think I'm on there with Robbie. Is like just the way that I speak sometimes can be very sarcastic or rude. I still take little pop shots at everyone in the house a little more than I want to. Like, I catch myself now, but yeah, that's the big one because they all do it too. So I know that's all me. I don't even have to ask them. I'm just like, if I ask them when you saw it, they'd be like, 5 seconds ago, Dad, what are you talking about? You just did it. Like
Is
yesterday,
that
every day of the week, sir.
is
Every
that
time you
is
open
that
your mouth.
your way of being like affectionate and showing love?
I don't know. I think it's just like it just comes from like the main like the I was never big on speaking or relationships or anything like that. And so like the main friendships that I had, like the one or two like guys that I would hang out with all my life, like that's all we would do. Was talk shit.
Hmm.
And so it just became like a way of speaking for me. And then like I started to see it like come out in weird ways at work where I would develop those relationships with people that I worked with. And then at one point, it was kind of like, oh shoot, like I'm developing this relationship at work, but like I'm technically this person's boss and like they're speaking to me in a way that they shouldn't be speaking to me. And like the line is being blurred way too much. And so like I had to, that was one of the biggest times that I had that, realization that I was, needed to stop that.
Hmm.
So I've stopped it quite a bit at work. But at home, it's still, I think at home, because I always try to like figure out why. I think it's just because like at home, it's like my safe place or like where my guard's down, and I'm like I go into like more of a relax mode.
Hmm.
Like I'm not like it's like the adrenaline leaves my body the second I hit home, and I just kind of like start to just take myself to the place of sleep, like relaxation. And so I just don't think my mind is, it's also usually the end of the day. So,
Do you think your family knows that? Is that like that they're like, oh, dad is
mm,
that dad shows affection that way? Like I remember there was one restaurant that I worked in because we were just talking about service industry, and like this manager was like a complete asshat, right? I'm using some words we see here in the chat right now. But the guy was like he ran the restaurant well, but you knew that you had his trust when he was really hard on you, but like overly sarcastic, like tearing you down. And I remember, the first time I saw him do that to somebody, I was like, oh my God, where am I? And then it wasn't like until a few weeks later, I had done something to help him out. And then he started to do it to me. I was like, what is this? I didn't really get it. But it wasn't until one of like the cooks who was there for like a long time was like, dude, you want him to say that to you. If he wasn't, then, if he was ignoring you, you'd have an issue. So I was like, oh, okay, well, I'm glad I knew that. And then it kind of changed things. But does your family feel like they understand that?
um, yeah, a little bit, but it doesn't come out. It doesn't come out like that. So no, I show my affection to my family in the other normal ways, like hugs and kisses and telling them I love them and proud of them and looking at their stuff. So
Oh,
no,
okay.
it kind of comes off as
Yeah.
like mean little snips.
Okay.
So yeah, that's something
Is that
I'm
some
working on.
you're working on? Okay, got it.
Oh yeah, definitely. One
That's
day
a
I'll be
habit.
able to tell you I'm 100 days clean and sober from talking shit to my family,
That's
I think
something
it's a great thing.
that I've
but they'll probably be in another country. So
that's something that I've had that I've done in the past. Kristen actually vocalized it last year. She was like, "You're really sassy." Sassy wasn't the word she used, but that's something that I realized was a negative a net negative. So something that I stopped.
Okay. Well, okay, so your kids could end up being sassy.
Oh, they're sassy.
Again, we got to be sassy. Come on. This sassiness is definitely something that makes life a little bit spicier and more interesting. Lately, I was in a meeting. I didn't even realize this. I was in a meeting recently, and I had to give my thoughts on how I was going to run this program for a bunch of people. And so they needed my input. Now, I'm not usually part of these conversations that they end up having. And it wasn't until like towards the end of the meeting that I got like that I shared a sarcastic thought. But in my way, I was like, oh, okay, this is how I connect. We're at the end of the meeting. We're going to now bring down the, the height of all this. Like we figured things out. But then like the COO that, was kind of running the meeting, she goes, oh, all right, 40 minutes in and Ryan's bringing his sarcasm in. I was like, I'm still unsure what that means. I don't really know what it meant because I was like, what? I didn't get it. And so I don't know. But now it's sitting in my head. I'm like, is that something that you actually like? She verbalized it with the whole group. And I was like, were you guys talking about this? So I don't really get it. But anyway, I'm going to leave that there. And now I'm going to lose some sleep over it. But
what are you taking it as?
The relationship between me and the COO, it's like a weird relationship. So I just take it as like oh yeah, you're not a nice person anyway. But I don't care. It's okay. It's just how I move through some situations. I'm totally okay with that.
But haven't you said that when you get to a point where you're, what was it you said before?
You're
like frustrated or upset, like
when Ryan's at a 6 out of 10.
Yeah.
Is when he starts getting sarcastic. And usually that means that the next step is
rage.
Anger. I specifically remember Ryan saying that.
Yeah, no, the sarcasm, it actually spans from 4, 5, 6. So it spans 3 of those, apparently. I probably should go back through that anger scale. It was really good. And I actually want to bring one thing up with these emotions here. But the anger scale tool is a really great thing, I thought. I was really glad someone brought it up, but I don't think I was using the sarcasm because it's good that you brought it up. So let's talk about that. And I'm saying this out loud to ground myself for a moment since I brought this up. With that, considering this relationship with the COO, I'm going back. I'm putting my butt in the seat in my mind, and I'm thinking, in that moment, I think that we were harping on a few things. We were kind of staying within the same thought. I was like, this meeting is over. We've talked about all these things. I have this handled. And so in the moment, my sarcasm is probably kind of like putting a period at the end of like what I've shared. I was like, no, this is what we're going to do. This is my program. Like, you guys don't need to tell me how to run this. And so probably in some capacity, I was sharing my sarcasm in that way. And I'm going to justify it further and say, you know what? If that made the meeting end quicker so we could all get back to our life and get our stuff done, then good. Whatever it is. But it is curious because I would want to ask, but the person who said this is not a very open individual. And so it's something where I don't even have a second thought about it, to be completely honest with you. But if it does affect other people in that room, because there were maybe 6 other people, and so I'm thinking, how did it affect them? And one of them was like a new GM. So I'm curious that GM maybe took that moment. I was like, what are they talking about? Are they okay? So I'm not sure. But that does come down to emotions. Do you guys think that you show emotional intelligence in front of your kids?
A little bit.
Yeah. Like I don't remember ever getting like really, really visibly mad or upset in front of my kids. I feel like I'm good at talking through things. Great question, though. Maybe that's a question for the kids.
Well, it is. I mean, asking the kids, when have you seen me do that? That's a big thing within this whole reading today. I love that because it is a question. I think it kind of grounds us because like, what if you are doing that all the time and we don't even know it? And so there's no fault. It's just kind of how things are. But it does help a little bit. But I think with coping mechanisms, I'm just trying to pull in a little bit of some current news here and research because with managing children's anger through parental example, I'm trying to make sure this is okay. This is November 2024. Okay, so not that long ago. But this is from the C.S. Motts Children's Hospital. The emotions, 63% of parents aren't sure they know how to help their kids with coping with anger, managing children's anger through parental example. I think I'll get there. I definitely feel as if it's something that is a challenge in terms of coping with anger sometimes.
Like, I mean, there's not much that I get like really bent out of shape about in front of my kids.
Okay.
But it's like, but it's something that is like, I'm just interested in. Maybe the word isn't. Oh, geez, I don't know. Maybe it's like challenging situations currently for me. It's like, how do the girls see like me and Kristen talk through like challenges or an unexpected challenge that kind of pop up? I think that's something that's more relevant to me right now, is just like how they see adults handle this stuff.
Got it. Would you fall in? This says 20% of parents strongly agree and 63% somewhat agree. So 28% strongly agree. So about a quarter, a little more than a quarter. 63% somewhat agree. So 2/3 almost, they somewhat agree that they know how to help their kids manage anger. And that 16% of parents, and half of parents at least, this is a better one. Listen to this. So we have less than a quarter, but 16% of parents strongly agree. They're like, yeah, for sure. And half of parents, at least 54% here, somewhat agree that at times they set a bad example of how to effectively manage anger. I'm more curious, are they aware of that even without having asked this question? I probably would fall somewhere within that 54%. I think I would somewhat agree that at times I set a bad example of how to effectively manage anger. And most of the time it's just anger. It's like the communication or the communication breakdown between me and Lauren a little bit. And, I would love to be better with that or slow the pace down. Like that's where that pause button would be. I would definitely hope. But I would be upset if my kids went into conversations with like teachers or their friends with some of the ways that, Lauren and I will communicate with each other in some of those moments, and we become a lot better with it. But that's definitely something that I would not want them to see. Or I wouldn't want to see them doing that. If that question of when have you seen me do that? Like, gosh, yesterday. And I'd be like, oh, damn it. So.
I think I feel like one thing that I do really good with my kids is vocalizing anger or sadness. Sometimes like Junie, like she get like things from school really get to her, like she has a hard day or like the class is loud. It's like she'll come home, like she'll mask it during the day and then she'll come home and it's like just kind of all comes out, and it usually comes out in front of Kristen in the car ride home. Because she's just been holding it in all day. And I feel like we're able to get through her until she can like talk about what it is that's annoying her. And it usually comes out in like tears and anger because like, it's like she's been holding it all day and then she can finally put it to words, but then with the words also comes all that emotion. So I'd say like taking that blockage out where sometimes it'll all just come out at once, or like my oldest daughter, she similar but like more subdued, but it's like once they can finally talk, it's like all the emotions that are also attached to those or all the words that are all the emotions that are also attached to those words and experiences, it
Yeah.
comes out. So it's like I'm hoping that's a practice for them of what it feels like to say what you're feeling, and also kind of embrace that uncomfortability with like showing that emotion.
I hear you.
That's my hope. Do we nail all the time? Probably not.
Why don't you guys have a dog door?
Because we have glass windows and I don't have a glass cutter.
Got it. You guys need one. That's just a lot of up and down with the dogs. If they want in it, them.
Yeah, most of the day.
Well, I think I'm going to do this. I think I'm going to write down at least 3 things that I see my kids doing, and before reacting to it, I think I need to ask my kids if they see me doing it, because I think I want to bring a little bit of clarity to some of these things. I think it would be helpful to do that. Love that. It's a great day for it, in fact.
It'll be interesting.
It would be interesting. Let me see. Any more notes that I had here? Kids mirroring our behavior. That was a great question from Mark Bell. Thanks, Mark Bell. I think I was trying to put some words to this. This is I think why I really like asking questions sometimes. But it's so weird because like I really don't like when my wife asks me questions, but I will ask questions all the time. But like accountability and empathy, that really is this. This is a moment for like being able to be accountable as a parent, but then also being empathetic enough to realize that whatever the kids are doing, it's coming from somewhere. It's not just straight from the right away. But I want to understand how I can be more about just think more about, I don't want to say correcting behavior, because I'm sure there's great things that we're doing, but it's more about just like, I want to catch myself before getting frustrated with what my kids do, because it's so unfair to give that kind of emotion to them. But somewhat here, I think that if I want to demonstrate kindness and I ask my kids to be kind, I think this is one way that I can demonstrate kindness and patience. And so I'm just trying to tie in a little bit of our world here. I just want to be, I want to be transparent about knowing that I might be making mistakes and showing them that I want to improve. I'm kind of throwing all these words out there and these thoughts, but I just want to make sure that this is one of those moments where I'm like, yeah, this is it. This is how I can become a better parent. So
no, this is good. You literally just said it. You're good at asking questions, and now you're explaining yourself. You're being asked a question, and now you're going through the process that you just explained. So cheers.
I'm also upset that no one here has mentioned anything about Dom's storage units. He put everything up there. Everyone talked about it. No one even sorry, just because yesterday I didn't realize until after. So
Oh man,
Dom, good job.
Yeah, they're in there. And we got I'm looking at 4.5 empty bins in front of me, and then I have another 5 bins outside that I'm gonna trash. So like essentially between the last couple of weekends, we've gotten rid of almost 9 bins of stuff. Well, I guess technically there's 6 new ones. So I guess that doesn't work, that math. So it's only like 3 bins.
Do you know what's in those bins?
Those ones up there?
Yeah.
So that's our camping gear. The 3 over here. And then the one in the back is like some really old stuff that we haven't been able to throw away, like some baby clothes, some backpacks. And then the 2 over there, I think, are Halloween decorations. Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah, we got the clear ones so that we could better see them.
Yeah.
What's in it versus labeling. I'm looking at the labels my wife put on, and a lot of them are falling off. They don't stick very well. So let's do a better job of that. I always think I have I guess Jason can connect with this.
whenever things start to get put into bins or we're buying more bins for things, I'm like, wait, hold on. Why are we buying more bins? We're just buying more bins to hide stuff. And I always get nervous, and it's always a check for me. But the camping stuff, all that sounds necessary. Hard pivot. Did anyone get Trump coin? I feel like it's like sitting on my mind right now. So many people just made a bunch of money off this, and I'm really angry because I saw it pop up. I didn't buy it, and the reason I'm saying this is because my computer just reminded me that tomorrow inauguration day. So whatever your thoughts are on the presidency and all this kind of stuff too, the coin. I mean, gosh, people just made so much money off this. But I know I would have fumbled it somehow.
Yeah,
held it back to the bottom.
I feel like I would have not. I feel like I would have like fumbled something. I don't know. Also, that's where the idealistic part of me comes out. It's like, do I really want to put money where my values are not?
Yeah. Sometimes my values are having more money. So when I think about it, I'm like, okay, I need this. But I also realize. So yeah, no, I definitely hear Jason. But also, if I can't buy something directly just through like normal Coinbase, I'm probably not going to end up buying it. And so because
yeah, I looked at Coinbase this morning, and because I woke up and like I think I went to bed reading a story about it. I woke up and I was like, well, if I can't get it like immediately right now, I'm probably not going to do it.
Yeah, it's like, if you want to buy this, you can. You just got to go to Coinbase wallet. I was like, oh man, I don't even know how to get back to my Coinbase wallet. Like, where is this? Do I have a special code that I forgot with somewhere? I'm not even sure anymore.
I have Coinbase wallet. Sorry, I just made $5,000.
For me, all of that just happens while I'm sleeping. So I miss out on everything because I sleep. Technically,
this is that you had more of a chance to buy Trump coin than all the other people that were actually asleep when it happened. There was a crypto ball that happened 2 days ago now. And so apparently everyone at the crypto ball apparently did not know that the Trump coin came out, and that those people kind of bought in while that was happening. And so anyway.
I go to sleep earlier than most people on the East Coast, right?
Oh, do you really?
Yeah.
You get up so early, so you're right. Yeah, I can see that.
Like I went to bed and Josh Courage was still streaming with 17 other people, like probably all on the East Coast, and I'm like, I'm going to bed. I'm turning this off.
Oh my goodness.
Y'all are party animals.
My sleep schedule hasn't been great, but my sleep has been better ever since I haven't been jumping on so many streams. And I've also just not spent so much money. So I feel really good about that. But then again, I'm not as connected in the community, so it makes me upset. All right, we're all over the place here. But that's okay. That's what we're here for. I also told Jason in a text message there's an art in making this only 30 minutes. But we're well beyond that. All right, guys. Well, that's our Sunday. We're going to get into this. I'm going to go make some roasted garlic rosemary sourdough. Got to go food shopping. I told myself yesterday, this is my issue. I make all of these like to-do lists, which is not a bad thing. So shut up, Gary. I will continue to make them. And I didn't get them. I was supposed to send Jason his shirt yesterday. I didn't do that. I didn't schedule this. Oh, also, with TikTok going down, I didn't realize this as much until Courtney from the V-Friends team said this, but CapCut's now down. So I didn't care about TikTok going down. But CapCut is now unusable, and so you can't use it, and so it's killing me in terms of my productivity and getting my content taken care of. That's a tough one. What else? Like where do I go now? People say Adobe, and I'm like, oh wait, hold on a second. I don't need to learn that. And then I'm like, maybe I can just go somewhere else. But
what? Edit clips.
Edit clips, yeah, but it's more. You can edit clips in so many places, but CapCut was really very streamlined. Plus, when you use something enough times, it's just because like also, I have a format for a lot of what my content is lately, and so I can like duplicate that video and then just insert my new video content in, and then just really kind of rework it really really quickly. So now it's just going to be until someone comes through and saves it. Someone was recently saying that Mr. Beast is going to save it. If you guys know Mr. Fantastic, Mr. O'Leary, Mr. Wonderful, rather, Mr. Wonderful is thinking about buying it too. But I think if Mr. Wonderful, guy from Shark Tank, if you guys don't know him, he's thinking about buying it. But I'm thinking he's just going to make it a news network if he buys TikTok. And then I think Mr. Beast will probably keep it somewhat the same. But whoever buys it, they're going to make it into this like now marketing platform for whatever's going on. They got like 2 million people ready to go if they just kind of buy this thing. Someone's going to buy it. I don't know who it is, but someone's buying it. I want CapCut back. That's all I want. All right, let's leave it there, guys. Any last thoughts today?
Do what you mean what you say.
Oh, that was a good one.
Nice. Well
That was a
done,
good
sir.
one. All right. Well, guys,
Have a good day,
And I'll
gents.
try to do that myself.
I hope your mugs stay full of coffee and your hearts full of gratitude. Buy Trump coin if it's a dip. You guys tomorrow. Goodbye.